live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with Community Kevin Brannon, brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Community Kevin Brannon. On this week's show, selected clips from Community Kevin's appearance on Capitol Hill during Capitol Hill Ocean Week in Washington, D.C. For more information, please visit marinesanctuary.org.
We are all in to fight for our underwater national parks, all in for strong communities and economies, all in for preserving access to America's public waters. The National Marine Sanctuary Foundation is the most trusted leader in marine conservation. We're all in. Waters for all.
Please welcome the President and CEO of the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, Joel R. Johnson.
Hello. All right, welcome back. We were just actually joking back there in the green room how much it sounds like the voiceover on that spot is me, but I can assure you it is not me. But welcome back. I hope you all had a fabulous lunch and break and enjoyed the last panel as well. Now we are moving on with something that I am particularly very excited to present to you all, which is this next session, From Sea to Shining Sea, Strengthening Coastal Economies and Communities. So once again, let's keep the CHOW 2025 hashtag going. I know many of you have posted a lot of great pictures and you have been able to make great connections. Let's make sure people out there know what's going on here at Capitol Hill Ocean Week.
Sounds cool.
And next, I'd like to introduce Kevin Brannon. He's the founder of the Real Angler Network. Kevin is an avid recreational fisherman who shares his passion for nature and marine conservation on his YouTube channel and in his podcast. He's also the founder of the Real Guppy outdoor program, which takes local youth who wouldn't normally get the opportunity out fishing in his community around the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary, teaching them about the ecosystem and about being good ocean stewards. Kevin, thank you for doing that, and please introduce yourself to us.
Hello, everybody. I'm really honored to be here. I've been working with NOAA and fisheries and sanctuaries for about 8 or 9 years. I'm from the Channel Islands region, which is kind of like the North American Galapagos Island, they call it. I'm actually just a real nerd. I just like to do documentary filmmaking. That's how I got into the Real Guppy Outdoors. To start it, just what we do is basically we lure them in with fishing, and then we brainwash them into taking over the world, really. Through confidence building, team building. We work in our area a lot about the blue economy, but we're a family engagement program too. As recreational fishermen, I'm really like recreational fishing was where I started when I was about 11 years old. I would ditch school to go fishing. I'm not a scholar. I put the A in STEAM for angler and art. I'm more of an artist. That's why I like to do a film. But I wanted a television show that was more educational, talked about, I'm a Reading Rainbow kid, so waking up watching PBS and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood mixed in with the Crocodile Hunter and stuff is how you find out what I do. Thank you very much. So I would sneak on the dock, and they would, they got tired of kicking me off, and so they offered me a job as a pinhead, and basically that's why you teach people how to, you start out helping out baiting hooks and standing on a bucket. I was like 11 and chumming up calico bass and stuff like that, but answering the questions that people had, a lot of tourists that came to our area about fishing. How do you eat them? How do you cook them? I have a slogan that says, do your taste buds a favor and play with your food. And when we're doing especially with like fish that you catch, how do you process it? How do you follow sustainable fishing practices and then take it home and grill it up, whether it's lobster in our backyard, rockfish, sea bass. So we wanted to cover all that in our show, and then trickling in to Real Guppy Outdoors, we're able to bring that whole vision together. So we have a nonprofit side of educational part that takes me into schools to teach about our backyard, again, telling other kids that might not have been a super scholar that they could still chase their dreams and go after them if they had the right resources, confidence, somebody championing them for them to do that. Also, from a cultural standpoint, it's not always an economic breakdown. Sometimes it's just your household just didn't do fishing or outdoor experiences just as a cultural tradition. So I'm able to be the voice for all of that. So that way it's not, oh, those poor kids didn't get to fish. It's like, well, you walk into a store and all that stuff that you see on the wall, even the lady or the person selling the retail in Walmart might not even know how to get you rigged up. So showcasing them again, just ask for help. There's a big world out here, whether you love fishing, you love swimming, you like snorkeling, there's so much to do in our backyard, and that's kind of the basis of what I do. So I'll stop talking. Community Kev with our Real Angler Network, and you can Google that too, communitykevin.com. Check it out. Just keep going.
Our last panelist to introduce. Anyone else on the panel want to talk about their organization? Yeah, please.
I think it's great. I think there's an opportunity right now. I think there's just a shift in the era that's wide open. If you want to be a pioneer or you want to be innovative, not right now is the time. I think you won't gone from a industrial revolution to a digital revolution. And since I do work with youth and entrepreneurship and ownership, right now is a great time for your creativity to try it out. People going after things that they love to do, like myself. So showcasing that right now. There is a lot of opportunity, digital and smart, and the gatekeepers don't hold all the gates anymore. You might need to do more collaborative efforts, which is great. He just talked about all kinds of collaborative efforts with big names, and part of nonprofit, I think it's been like that, is how we bring our resources. So with the Chumash, right, the city where we live at, Wainimi, means resting place, and that's where they would get together and share their resources, the tribes, and then they would spread back out. And I think that's what we're doing right now. Now, like, instead of having a scarcity mindset, think about how much opportunity you could build through collaborative efforts with other people, in the same, but maybe not exactly in the same industry as you, and how do you guys collaborate together, If you're gonna use fishing terms, you gotta go through your whole tackle box, you can't just keep throwing the same lure out there, you gotta mix it up. And I think right now it's a great time for that, Again, as we're growing and new people coming in and technology and new ideas, there is a shift just in some of the used to be's that are kind of transferring out, and it gives us all an opportunity. Our program is called Oceans of Opportunity because we look for solutions. Again, if you're a Navy SEAL, right, you got to have these solution-based kind of a mindset. So that's kind of what we're teaching. Don't turn the TV off and don't look at all the devastation. Like, go out and create it, man. You have opportunity right now like never before, so maximize it.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else?
I think that just even though we're under this umbrella, by not just saying that we're take kids fishing, by saying we're educational and kind of having like you say, strategies and diversifying your portfolio so that you're not just one dimensional, and then finding other mission people that have aligned with the same mission and visions that you have. Again, it does help out. Just something to really build your foundation on. So when it does shift the pendulum back and forth, again, you're anchored in. I use a little nautical term. You're anchored in pretty good. But that's a good strategy to have. First, have your strategy plan and your partnerships and stuff, and stick to the mission, like you said, man. And you can't. That's just philosophy. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. It's a really good point. The maritime industry, whether it's with shipping or ports or engineering, there's such a demand right now. Yeah. Across the board. There are folks really struggling to hire, and so getting people to realize very early that there's all kinds of careers associated with our maritime industries. Kevin, tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with kids that may have never been fishing before.
It's pretty cool. just... But also their parents too. So we say there's a kid in all of us. And for us to continue recreational fishing, who spends the disposable income, just watching people, again, when I worked on the boats, watching people from Chicago, I remember visiting, to watch anybody catch their first fish. That doesn't have to be this gigantic monster. The name of our first children's book is called Catch a Memory, it's not Catch a Monster, because we don't ever want to highlight fishing as you need to be in an exotic location. You need to have all this expensive fishing gear to actually enjoy recreational fishing. So just watching anybody catch their first fish, again, they're going to remember that for the rest of their life. And when I tell them what we do, that's when they start to, I remember catching this fish with my grandfather way back in, you can see the tunnel vision, like they're reliving that experience that they had a chance to do it. And then capitalizing on what you guys are saying is that we do talk about the blue economy. I live in Port Hueneme, which is the third biggest port in the Navy, right between two bases, and showing them that there's a career pathway on the ocean as well, where they want to be rangers at the Channel Islands, working in the port in the nautical area, marine biologists, so we do that same thing as kind of showcasing them and having guest speakers come into our facility to show them about the career paths that are out there on the blue economy in the water. So, but watching a kid catch their fish, and they're so stoked and excited and stuff, and kids, like you were saying, they're like sponges. So when we let them hold the crabs and we pull the crab net up and they get a chance to touch it, and then they're teaching another kid, oh look, this is a slender crab, and they don't really so utilizing them to teach the other kids, but they're just little sponges. So as long as the parents are like, don't stop, quit, don't touch it, before they scare them off, we get a chance to show them the confidence of holding it and stuff. And even them learning how to cast, and they hook a pier and we'll lie to them and tell them it's a pylon shark. So they're loosening the drag and they're fighting this pylon. And then it'll break off. I'm like, oh, that's great. Set me back up. So we'll kind of play along with them to keep them engaged, not just wait for the fish to bite. We kind of have all the other ways to keep them inspired the whole time.
A pylon shark.
Pylon sharks are biting.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, it's time for us to begin the wind down. We have a few more minutes. I want to end with a thought-provoking final question for everyone. In a nation that dares to dream, what are your hopes and dreams for the future in your area of work? Specifically, what technological or societal breakthroughs or innovations would make the biggest impact to propel your work forward? And I'm going to start with Kevin.
All right.
And I'm going to end with Chairman Khan. So, Kevin.
We just like to inspire them, man. So let them just be creative. I guess my dream would be, just, creatively, especially right now at a digital time, that they could, we could utilize this. I heard the guy again from the previous panel, talking about the commercial fishing and the importance of eating seafood and stuff like that, that how important it is. You could eat a hot Cheeto and not ask twice, can I eat that? But when we go fishing, people are like, you could eat that fish? And it's well, if you could eat that mystery sludge at McDonald's, you could eat this fish too. Yeah. It's just a cultural breakdown of what we'll eat, and I think that's it, is just people recognizing, echoing that we purchase more seafood when we go out to eat at a restaurant than we actually catch and harvest ourselves. We think harvesting is more like fruit or agriculture, where harvesting is also hunting and fishing, and something about just harvesting your own catch and then cooking it and the accomplishment. So I don't know if that's the answer to your question, but for me, just people to understand, again, fishing isn't just about us depleting the ocean of a resource, but how do we live in harmony with it, and cultivate and harvest enough for us to eat and share that, when we eat together and ceremonial, something like that. I just really that's where we really tie into our basis. So just continuing that we're not preserving it to death, and that we're really living in harmony and able to harvest forever, generations
making
to
that
come.
Connection and catching a memory.
Yeah.
All right, that's really nice.
On this week's show, selected clips from Community Kevin's appearance on Capitol Hill during Capitol Hill Ocean Week in Washington, D.C. For more information, please visit marinesanctuary.org. To learn more about Real Guppy Outdoors, please visit www.communitykevin.com. Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.